and welcome, I'm your CodeMonkey. So Unity has just entered into open beta. I'm currently doing research to make a super detailed tutorial on it. And during my research, I'm actually finding this tool is actually surprisingly useful. This is not just mindless AI hype, it's actually not even focused on AI generation itself. Instead, it is actually capable of generally useful things. It can do things like custom editors, it can help you analyze a profiler, it can take actions in your project, it can actually see your project visually, it can do some basic level design, it can help you organize your assets, it can help you fix bugs with the context of your project and a bunch more things. You can check it out with the link in the description. Like I said, I'm still researching, but Unity actually invited me to be a guest on their livestream. And this was really nice, really educational for me. It was a great showcase of how these tools can be used to make something really interesting. The entire livestream is over 1 hour long. So here I want to make a super quick video, just talk about the main takeaways, just so you can quickly see how this tool can be generally helpful. The demo they built is a pretty nice vehicle destruction derby kind of game. So the player controls the vehicle, it has some kind of laser, there are NPCs and so on. So in terms of gameplay, relatively simple, although still quite impressive. But the most impressive part, like I said, is all the tools they built to actually build this thing. So at the very start, something that I found very interesting right away was basically this. Basically the distortion over there, or the deformation on terrain. I thought that was quite interesting. And basically they used Unity AI to make that happen. Which my takeaway from this is a really great learning tool. You can ask it to come up with some kind of system, which in this case, from what I understood, basically it split the entire arena into several pieces. Then each of those pieces has some kind of height map, and then you've got some kind of sphere, and that sphere is basically drawing on that height map, and doing so, that basically causes deformation. This is the kind of system that, honestly, it's something that I've always been interested in, but I've never actually had the time to research. So yep, this is a great use case for Unity AI. Ask it to help you build some kind of system, like a terrain deformation system. Then it builds this kind of thing. And then importantly, you can ask it, okay, help me understand why this works. I think that is a great use case, and specifically because of the fact that this AI is very much Unity, meaning it is trained on Unity stuff, on game development stuff. Because that means it has context of game development, shaders, rendering, and all those things. So because that, it should be much better at solving these kinds of questions and helping you learn how these kinds of effects can be made, as opposed to something like a generic LLM. Then they showcase how the arena was actually built. And for this one, basically they made the different building parts, basically the straights and the corners for the arena. And then another super great use case for AI, they basically built a tool in order to be able to create an arena of any size. So over here, Hugo, the principal developer, he basically used AI to create this nice little Colosseum builder script, and basically just takes two references for the various prefabs and then basically positions them according to some settings that you set. So this over here I thought was a great tip for how to use AI the best way, which is basically when you ask it to create some kind of script or do some kind of action, always ask it to give you some extra parameters so that you can basically fiddle with things, because chances are the output from the AI will not be perfect, but if it gets you, let's say 90% of the way there, and then you can basically just play around with some sliders in order to make it absolutely perfect, that is still going to save you a ton of time. So in this case, the prompt I used was create a parametric object that I can scale in the Z and X with gizmos that always make a perfect Colosseum with these parts. The pieces should fit nicely together. Give me a parameter that lets me adjust the slack between the pieces for manual adjustment. So the final result was a script, and yep, this one has all kinds of parameters so you can play with it. So yep, you can modify with the slack, you can modify the rotation and so on. So yep, I thought this was a great tip, because many times I've tried to generate things with AI, like when I've tried to use Unity AI in the past, the assistant. It is very good at coming up with scripts, but it is never like 100% good. So I think this is an excellent tip that can help make things quite a bit better. Ask it to help you generate some kind of editor tool to help you, but then importantly, ask it to add some kind of parameters so you can manually tweak and fine-tune some things. That way, if the AI can help you get really fast to 90%, then you just have to manually tweak some things to get the extra 10%. And over here, you actually showcase a very interesting tool that is actually related to me. In a previous video about Unity AI, I mentioned how one of the things that I most hate doing is level design and positioning objects all over the place. So you actually heard me say that, and they actually built a really nice system. Once again, you use the AI to create a real nice prompt, and then using that prompt basically takes a bunch of shelves, and you can basically modify the size of those shelves, modify on the X, modify on the Y, and it will automatically position all those objects amongst those shelves. So once again, I think this is another excellent use case. This is how AI is generally very useful. It can help you build editor tools like this that can really help speed up the process. I feel this is definitely 10 times more useful than the usual AI generation sprite thing. Next highlight from this livestream is how AI is really good for research, meaning specifically for thinking about, okay, I would want to do this kind of thing. What are the various approaches that I could take to build this kind of system? So over here, basically, they want to have these robots cheering in the sections, and they didn't know what is actually going to be the best way to do this, because if you place like 1,000 game objects, chances are the performance is going to tank. So over here, he did a prompt kind of like this. So check out my game, it's already quite polygon heavy. Now, I would like the game to feel more alive, and one great way to do that would be with an audience. In this world, I'd like the audience to be robots of various shapes and sizes. What would you recommend would be a couple of ways to go about that in a performant way. And importantly, the AI actually gave about 3 separate options that you could take, using vertex animation textures, using VFX ref with mesh particles, using billboard LEDs. So again, this is really great for when you want to implement some kind of mechanic, some kind of system in your game, but you don't know, okay, what exactly would be the absolute best approach here? When you don't know that, simply ask the AI, okay, give me 5 possible options for how I could implement this, and then you can use your own brain to look at this list and try to see, oh, okay, so I think option 1 makes the most sense. And then of course, you can take the next step forward, which is, okay, so in this case, it suggested vertex animation textures. In this case, the lead developer, he did not actually know how to implement that. So once again, he asked the AI, okay, help me implement this system. He just asked, what would you need to help me set up a VAT system? And then the AI gave all of that. It requested a baking tool and then just made that baking tool. Then it also made the VAT compatible shader. So here's the baker tool. Basically just takes a bunch of animation clips and bakes it. So this one essentially just bakes the animation onto a texture and then uses the shader in order to move those vertices. That way you don't have 1,000 different game objects. You have just one with a ton of meshes baked inside and then it's just animated directly. Here's the texture. It is definitely not human readable, but this is what the shader used in order to actually make that animation. In the end, yep, it works really great. So here we've got a ton of robots, all of them animated, everything nice and performant. So yep, really great. When you don't know how something, just ask it. And like I said, since this AI is specifically Unity AI, that means it has context of both game development as well as Unity, as well as of course your own custom project. So with all of that context, it is actually going to be much better at giving you various options that fit your project specifically. Another great use case is for project analysis. So nowadays you can actually go on the profiler, you can generate a capture, and then you can ask the AI, help me understand this capture, help me understand why is this being slow or fast. The profiler is a really awesome tool, but for some people, especially for beginners, it can be really tricky to understand what exactly is all of this information, what does all of this mean. So I think having a tool that can basically translate all of that data into plain English, I think that is super helpful. And importantly, the AI can actually help you identify things that might be very difficult to spot. And over here, it actually identified that the issue was mainly having some massive triangles. Basically, the original developer used ProBuilder in order to build a rough gray box of this scene. And some of those things, turns out they actually had some pretty massive triangles, which in turn were causing a ton of issues to do with, apparently, by reading over here, apparently to handle with frustum calling. This is definitely an issue that I've never thought about myself, and if I were trying to debug this project, I probably would not think about that. So it's really great if you're trying to make your game quite a bit more performant and you don't know what exactly could be the issue. SEI, and maybe it might actually find something that is actually going to be the culprit, then you apply just one quick fix and everything runs much better. Then in the live stream, they showed a bunch more stuff, like how they create the robot mesh, how they create the various animations, how they made the car driver and fix a bunch of issues, how they made a shader to protect the audience. So there's a lot of useful information in this live stream. Here are some more general best practices. Again, this tool is super powerful, but you need to know how to work with the tool to get the best results. For example, you should break problems down. So don't ask, build me an entire game. That is probably not going to work. Instead, ask, help me with this tiny specific task. Then ask for another one. Basically do many tiny tasks instead of huge ones. Then be as descriptive as possible. The more detailed, the better. One person asked on the live stream, okay, how do you stop hallucinations? And the answer to that is basically just give it as much detail as possible. Hallucinations basically come from the AI trying to guess what you intend with the prompt. So the more detail you give with your prompts, the less the AI has to figure it out. Then generate characters in T-pose to make them easier to animate. That's a great tip. When generating sprites, ask for a solid colored background, kind of like green, in order to make it easier to remove later. That's a very good tip, works very well. Then ask for editing tools with tons of fine-tuning sliders. Like I said, this is one of the best tips, and something that I never quite thought about until I watched this live stream, so I think this is really great. Then ask it for brainstorming questions instead of asking for a specific output. I have some robots in the stands and I want the shield to protect them. Give me 5 possible approaches for solving this problem. Like I said, really great for research. Then use screenshots and images to visually guide the AI if you want a visual task, like level design or particle effects. This AI actually has the capability of taking a screenshot of your project. If you ask to do something complex, it will actually do that over time. It will take a screenshot, try to see, okay, did I position all the objects correctly? Yes or no? I'm going to take another screenshot, move a little bit, take another, and so on. So the fact that this AI has vision also makes it super useful. Then of course you can drag related prefabs and assets to give more context to the AI. There's another great feature of this AI. And lastly, use plan mode to come up with a plan before you attempt any changes. Basically on the drop-down menu over here, you can ask, literally just ask something. You can make a plan, and you can choose the agent, which actually takes actions. So like I said, I'm still doing research in order to make a super detailed video on everything related to this tool. It actually has a ton of use cases. Like I said, I was super impressed when I watched this live stream, just to see how it can be generally useful. This is not just mindless AI hype. I think this can be generally useful for so many people. So stay tuned for that video, but if you want to try it out right now, check the link in the description. It's in open beta right now with a free 14-day trial. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.